Now, when you meet somebody and you decide to settle down and perhaps get married or have children, one of the many things that you have to think about is whether or not you're going to change your name. Well, my guests this morning have done just that. They had quite traditional names, Susan Brown and Rachel Robinson. But now they've gone for something a little bit, well, out of this world. We're going to find out more about that in a few minutes' time. But first, let's find out a little bit more about the work that they do at a cafe called Cloud9 in North Shields. Welcome to the studio, both. You've been in before, and we love having you here. So we've said, please come back and tell us what is going on with you two at the moment. But we're going to go right back to the beginning, because for anybody who's never listened before, never met you on the airwaves before, Susan and Rachel, tell us how you met.
Well, I was fat and unhappy and I needed to make a change. So I joined a boot camp to lose some weight and just have a healthier, better lifestyle. At the time, Susan was a frazzled parent.
And having panic attacks every 5 minutes. Hi! Anyway, hi everyone listening.
The panic attacks have gone now, haven't they? They've gone now.
They're absolutely gone, yeah. But we were both like literally not happy with our lives at the time. So we decided to do something useful. First thing in the morning, get you out of bed for me, was to get me out of bed before having a panic attack for the kids getting up and my husband at the time and stuff like that. So we met.
The first person who I seen in the car park waving when I arrived at the boot camp was Susan.
I was like, hi!
We instantly became friends. A lot of people said we had a very intense friendship.
Yeah, it was.
And then we ended up together.
Yeah, it was like, like when you meet a best friend, someone you can trust on, and then you can just like have a partner as well. Then
we're
it's
still
like
best friends, by the way.
Two birds with one stone.
Well, you need to be, don't you? Because not only do you live together, but you work together. Because you did have different jobs, of course, when you first met. What were you doing again, Susan?
I worked for the police as a resource controller, and Susan was a makeup artist.
I was a makeup artist, yeah.
And you thought, right, do you know what? We've met each other, we get on great, we could probably work together. Was that how this happened?
Well, we got married and everything, and we continued with our jobs. So we sorted our actual personal, real lives out, because we both left our husbands, which was a very, very kind of traumatic time, wasn't it? Like having to take these changes. I had children and stuff like that, and even like because we had husbands, and then we became wives. That was a bit of a change.
I remember when we first met, though, when we were best friends, we were all excited about the fitness thing that we're doing. And I remember I was sitting at my desk one day at the police, and I sent Susan a message saying, I've got to get out here. And she's like, don't worry, we will open my own business. And like the first idea was a gym. Then it was like...
we just wanted to help people, didn't we?
Yeah, we just wanted to
help people somehow with some skills.
And help them, but we didn't know what we were going to like disguise the business.
So now we share a bed together and a business.
Yeah.
How mint is that? You don't have that many people to deal with, you know what I mean? We're just dealing with each other.
Hard work, but I've been to your cafe, so you decided on a cafe, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's definitely, I guess you'd both say it's probably hard work in some ways, but it is a wonderful place. Tell me about the cafe.
Do you want to go, Rachel?
You can start that.
Okay, so we thought, well, coffee shops are really popular hangouts, so we wanted a coffee shop. I don't know if do you remember, because I don't know if you're a bit younger than me.
No, you might be complimenting me.
Cheers. Do you remember?
Yes.
Does anybody listening remember Cheers?
Yeah.
Where everybody knows your name,
that one,
and they're always glad you came. It's a bit like that. It's like a place where you can come in and you're a bit curious and you're like, oh, I love coffee because it's so in, isn't it? Coffee's like in. We'll go to a coffee shop, meet up and stuff like that. Mums, the elderly, anybody, right? But the coffee shop has an element of relaxation, as you'll agree, because you've seen it, the way it's decorated and stuff. When you come in, you just totally like relax. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. Then we've got a studio, which we've created a meditation club and other classes. Which help you learn about yourself, really, more about yourself. And we'll also have a treatment room in there. So it's like an open house. We say it's like an open house because we spend more time there than we do at home.
When I'm in the kitchen at the coffee shop, people just follow us around, and it's like, do you know when your friend comes around and you're cooking tea?
Yeah, we've got an open kitchen, haven't we?
Your friend will follow you around the kitchen.
Yes,
well, it's kind of like
pouring.
So it's kind of like that in the shop, and it's really nice. Like when I'm just doing things, people are just following us around.
That's
telling us the
hilarious.
stories.
She's like bent over the dishwasher and they're like, anyway, so I had this argument the other day. And you're like, oh, did you? That's awful. Now take a seat and we'll give you a coffee. Do you know what I mean?
And then if they don't take a seat, I just get them to do the dishes with us. And do you know what? People love stuff like that because they're actually...
It reminds you of home.
Getting therapy, but they're doing something, so they're kind of distracting themselves from what they're talking about, and then they talk more.
But I do think that, you know, what everyone wants in life is when you come home, someone's happy to see you.
Yes.
And that's what unless we've had a spat with each other. And
I don't imagine that.
It does happen.
No.
We're very real, aren't we, Rachel? But it teaches people to behave that sometimes, you know, you have to discuss things, you know, logically and practically as well. But people just love to like sit and watch me, don't they? If you want to sit and like mindfully watch me and Rachel, that's like
you're
cool
more
as
than
well.
welcome. It is a very relaxing place. I've been there myself. It is fabulous. It's in Cullercoats. If you've never been before, Cloud9 Cafe in Cullercoats, and you've got loads of regulars now, haven't you?
Loads.
They just love us. We've actually just booked our Christmas
love them.
party because we love them
we're
that
so
much.
organised.
We're really organised. Yeah, we're really excited about
and
it
we're
as
on
well.
Christmas lunch on the side, didn't we? While we were busy doing that.
So all the regulars are really excited because we're creating a place where everyone can we can all have a Christmas celebration together. So that's really nice. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
And are you finding now that you are getting busier and busier?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, actually, we're coming up 2 years old, and if for anybody who's got children, you know what a 2-year-old toddler's like. But it's almost like we've had a baby, right? And it's
I love
now
the way you explain this, by the way.
Well, we've had a baby. We had to like carry the baby, give birth to the baby. We've now got a 2-year-old toddler, which has tantrums sometimes. You still get tired. We'll have the odd sleepless night, you know, thinking about things and practical money matters and things like that. But it's a 2-year-old baby now, so we can kind of leave it with its parents,
just
like
to confirm.
grandparents, like so. Yeah, so we
Just
can,
for
like, go off
everyone
for the
listening,
weekend.
when Susan's talking about a baby, she means the business. It's an analogy.
Yeah,
just in
it's
case you
it's
didn't get
metaphor,
that, we haven't had a baby.
Not yet, anyway.
Oh gosh, well that could be the next thing to come. Well listen, we're going to talk more in a moment about what you two have been up to outside of the business, because there's plenty more to chat about.
Right.
But as I mentioned, Cloud9 Cafe in Cullercoats, if you've never heard of it, we will hear more in a couple of minutes. Now I'm joined in the studio by the wonderful Susan and Rachel from what we affectionately here at BBC Newcastle call the Hug Cafe in Cullercoats, but it is actually Cloud9. It's wonderful to welcome them back in the studio. They've been up to all sorts. We found out beforehand about how they met and how they set up their business together, the Cloud9 Cafe, and how it's become incredibly popular. But you're hoping to you've got plans, haven't you? Not necessarily expansion, but plans.
Yeah, we've got some plans. We've got a big 5-year plan going on.
5-year plan?
Yeah, it started with Meditation Club, which was launched in January. We're building up a lovely following of members.
Yeah, clients, members, people just dropping in when they can, just to do like 45-minute meditations.
Yeah.
And people who've actually, you can join as a member and you receive further discounts like 20% off treatments.
Unlimited meditation.
Yeah.
Unlimited
obviously when the
meditation.
classes are on.
Yeah.
And also we've got like a WhatsApp group, haven't we? Like all the members are in there and we're always in touch with each other at Christmas parties.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's like as a professional level, we've got a membership based club. The kind of start with founding members that are growing, and that's took off this year
really well. What we're actually doing is at the moment we're launching free meditation trials. We'll have one starting on the 1st of July. If you want to be in the meditation trial, just send me and Susan a message to our Facebook page. It's Cloud9 Wellbeing. That's what the Facebook page is called. But if you can't find it, just Google us, and we're mobile numbers, the shop numbers, everything's on the website.
Yeah.
If anyone's stressing anyone suffering from anxiety, stress, or like a frazzled parent, or just need some time on your own, and me and Susan to support you, just send us a message and you'll get in the trial, and it's a 3 months meditation.
Fantastic. Because we talked about meditation last time I met you, and you said it's not just Omin. It's not just
not
Omen.
just Omen, even though I love Omen. I love Omen. I like Omen. It's actually, it prepares you for your life. It gives you preparation for what you need to deal with in life by giving you short spaces of time in between tasks. It's as simple as that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
An introduction to meditation. The ladies will help you with that. Now, it's not just your business that's evolving. I mentioned earlier that you had a very, very big decision together to change your surname, didn't you?
It's
Yeah, we
hilarious.
did.
Honestly, Helen,
best
it's
surname in the
absolutely
world.
hilarious. It still makes me, like, when I think about it, I'm like,
It's so funny
like
when
a
you book
child.
at a table at a restaurant. Sometimes I just
I know,
go
I'm-
Rachel, and then sometimes I'm like Susan and Rachel Universe.
Yeah, there we go. Universe. That was the name. Universe
Yeah.
is your
Yeah.
chosen surname. Mrs. and Mrs. Universe.
Yeah, it's
It's
brilliant.
actually, it's not as dramatic. The start of the story isn't as dramatic as it seems. Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Well, one day I was just dropping off to sleep and I had a bit of a panic on, but it wasn't a panic attack. It was just a little panic, and I said, "My ex-husband. I've still got my ex-husband's name, and we do get on. We're really good friends. We're great parents for the kids together. We're together on that and stuff. But like his his partner, well, his fiance. I was thinking, oh my God, if they get married, we'll have the same surname. And I thought, oh, I don't want that. And I'm sure she doesn't want that either. Like, there's two Mrs. Browns knocking around. So I was like, I need to change my name. But, like, I don't want my maiden name because I don't really have an active relationship with my family. And I've tried and it's not happening. So for personal reasons. So I was like, well, I don't want my maiden name because that makes us feel a bit sad. And then Rachel was like, well, have my name. And I went, no offence, Rachel. I've done marriage with a man and all this traditional, like, you have to take that name. I've had my kids, you know, they're growing. I was like, no, thanks.
I was like, whatever.
But then I had this thing and I was like, but I don't know, where do I belong? And serious though, I was like, but I don't, what can I have? And Rachel was like, but Susan, what about Universe? And I was like, shut up. That is
I was
ridiculous.
like, honestly, Susan, it's amazing. Like, Universe, it's the coolest surname in the world.
And it does go in with what we teach, what we talk about, because we know religions works for people, but we teach universal concepts in today's language.
Yeah.
Like, the universe is like, you know, mentioned every 5 minutes by people understand what it is, and that's what we like to kind of practice at our place. So she was like, that's the perfect name, you are part of the universe and so is everyone else. And you know, and for 3 weeks I was like, I had this thing in my head like, I can't do that. That is so ridiculous. And then I was like, what about Will.i.am? What about Lady Gaga? She can do it. Like, you know, what about Anna Mae Bullock, who is Tina Turner? She can do it. You know what I mean? And then
I was
one day-
just like, just do it and I'll do it. Just come on.
Yeah. She was like, if you want, I'll do it as well. And I was like, really, will you? Like, holding hands together, like, okay. And then
So
we
in the
decided.
time when Susan was thinking about it, I started doing some research, and there's nobody else in the world with that surname.
Not that we've found.
There's someone
Wow.
who won Mrs. Universe in America, but
That
that's
wasn't
her
me. Wasn't
winning
me.
title. It's not our actual name.
Wasn't me.
Her surname's Peters. But anyway, I've checked the census registers.
We've researched it.
and It was so hard changing my name to Rachel Universe on Facebook. I got my Facebook shut
Mine
for like
isn't.
nearly
They
a month.
won't do mine still because
And
they say it's
her-
fake.
Yeah.
And we've got our
Susan's-
driving license. We've actually got our driving license in Universe, so it's official. We just haven't coughed up for a passport, have we?
So
but we
Mark
don't need to.
Zuckerberg hasn't authorised it yet.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
we'll have
come
to.
on,
Have you got
Mark.
his number?
No, but we'll see what
Shall
we
we
can
see if
do.
we can ring Mark?
I know.
Say, Mark, will you
I
change
did
my
send
name?
him a personal message saying, are you going to change my name or what? And I sent him my driving licence, but he never read the message.
He might not have understood, Geordie.
No, he might not have.
Well, let us know if he ever gets back to you. Has
I
your
will
chair
do.
just dropped again? We've got an issue with the chair in the studio. It just keeps dropping.
it did a bit.
It's the weight of the universe.
I know.
Have you got the weight of the universe on your shoulders? Come to Cloud9, we'll sort it out.
Oh, it's no weight at all. Well, ladies, it was so good having you in the studio. It's lovely,
I
lovely
love
to
it.
see you. And next time, well, perhaps you should come back in again and tell us about the meditation classes and how they're going, and tell us all about that. It would be lovely to see you. And we'd love to hear more reaction in future about the name Mrs. and Mrs. Universe.